WSBT-TV.
First, fast, accurate, with Jennifer Copeland and Rick Schutt. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5.
There is no question now. In the past hour, Clemson announced tomorrow night's game against Notre Dame will go on as scheduled.
There have been concerns this week because of Hurricane Joaquin and flooding problems because of a lot of rain down there this week. And, of course, more rain forecast for this weekend. We have team coverage of the game and weather conditions the team and those traveling to South Carolina will face. And we start with WSBT 22 Sports Director Pete Byrne, live at Memorial Stadium right now in Clemson. And, Pete, you arrived there earlier today. What's it all been like?
Well, Rick, obviously the weather has taken over a big part of the story of this weekend's game, but the good news, as you just mentioned, this game will be played tomorrow night as scheduled, and that means we're all in for the pageantry that everyone hoped to see when this game was put on the Irish schedule. You mentioned I'm inside Memorial Stadium right now. I'm actually standing right next to Howard's Rock, and for the football fans out there that aren't familiar with this, Howard's Rock is as synonymous with Clemson football as the Golden Dome is at Notre Dame, and it's also the site of what they refer to as the 25 most exciting seconds in college football. Tomorrow night, shortly before kickoff, the Clemson team will enter the stadium right behind me here. They're all going to come down and touch the rock, and then they run down the hill. Probably a 50-yard run at a pretty heavy incline into Memorial Stadium here, and they will take the field to the roars of 80,000 strong, and I can only imagine how a crazy weather night tomorrow night might add to the atmosphere here in Memorial Stadium. This is going to be a great, exciting football game. You've got two top 15 teams playing, a game that could end up having college football playoff implications before the season is over with. And this is the kind of game that the head coaches involved really enjoy coaching in, because they say nights like this tend to bring out the best in their players.
The competition, when it's, it just brings out the best in everybody. It brings out the best in the players and the coaches.
This is one of those games that really comes down to, the competitive matchups. I mean, your offensive line versus their defensive line, our receivers versus their DBs, their DBs versus our receivers. I mean, it's just, who wins the plays.
Everybody wants to be challenged. Everybody wants to get that opportunity to compete at the highest level, and this will be one of those opportunities.
It will certainly be a challenge for both the Irish and the Tigers tomorrow night, facing off against each other. And adding to the challenge, of course, will be the weather. They're predicting anywhere between 5 to 12 inches of rain. But I spoke to one of the Clemson athletic directors, and they say that's not overnight. That's over the stretch of the next 3 days. One of the reasons why they're confident they'll be able to play this game in this stadium tomorrow night, they said they've got a field that's been put in about 4 years ago. It's very short. It's supposed to drain very well. So despite the fact that it's going to be messy all around the stadium and very wet inside the stadium, they think they're going to be able to pull off a football game in that atmosphere.
Yeah, Pete, you got to wonder, though, how many people are actually going to show up with all that rain, tough traveling conditions to get to the stadium. Do you get a sense down there what this all means? Are people still going to try to make it out to the stadium tomorrow?
Yeah, you have to remember where we are. We're in the Southeast, and they are as football rabid in this part of the country as anywhere in the world about any sport. I've talked to a lot of fans out here today. By the way, I have seen some Notre Dame fans around, but a lot of Clemson fans walking around here today. It's unseasonably cool and obviously very wet out here. But I said, do you think that people will show up tomorrow? And they said, oh, yeah. With the amount that we're paying for these tickets, with the demand for these tickets, there's no question in anyone's mind right now, at least among the fans, that this stadium will be packed 80,000 strong. And they think that the weather will probably make the environment even crazier than it normally is. And that should be pretty exciting to see if that holds true.
Yeah, they'll show up in that rain. All right, Pete, let's hope it's a safe environment for everybody involved. Pete, thanks.
But still